My 12-year-old daughter looked at the judge and said, I want to live with my dad, full time. My mom doesn't really care about us. I'm Dr. Jennifer Martinez. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I've spent 15 years helping families navigate divorce, teaching parents how to co-parent, how to protect their children from conflict, how to recognize manipulation. And I was sitting in that courtroom realizing my ex-husband had spent 6 months turning my own children against me, using every tactic I teach other parents to avoid, and I didn't see it coming. Polls. If stories like this interest you, family dynamics, manipulation, professionals fighting battles in their own lives, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We share a new true story every day. Now, let me tell you how I got here. It all started 3 years ago, the day I signed the divorce papers. I signed the divorce papers on a Tuesday. 3 years ago, March 15th, 2022, my office at Seattle Family Therapy Center. David, my soon-to-be ex-husband, sitting across from me. Our lawyers flanking us. 15 years of marriage, ending with signatures on legal documents. David looked calm, professional. He's a corporate lawyer. Negotiations are his specialty. He'd negotiated our custody agreement like it was a business merger. 50-50 split. 1 week with me, 1 week with him. Holidays alternating. Summer split down the middle. For the kids, he'd said, we need to be fair, put them first. I'd agreed. Of course I agreed. I'm a family therapist. I know the research. Joint custody is best for children. Co-parenting works when both parents commit to it. David smiled as he signed, reached across the table, shook my hand. We can do this civilly, Jen, for Emma and Lucas. We can be good co-parents. I believed him. That was my first mistake. Emma was 9 then. Lucas was 6, old enough to understand divorce, but young enough to adapt, or so I thought. I'd prepared them carefully, used all my professional training, sat them down, explained that mommy and daddy still loved them, that divorce was between adults, that they'd have 2 homes now, 2 bedrooms, 2 sets of toys. Emma had cried. Why can't you just stay together? Sometimes adults grow apart, sweetie, but we both love you. That will never change. Lucas had asked, will we still see you? Every single week. 1 week with me, 1 week with daddy. You'll never lose either of us. Looking back now, I hear the fear in Lucas's question, will we still see you? Not will we still see dad, just me. Like he already knew something I didn't. The first few months went smoothly. Too smoothly, maybe. Transitions were easy. David would drop the kids off Sunday evenings. We'd exchange pleasantries, talk about their week, schedule updates, doctor appointments. Emma and Lucas seemed okay, adjusting. They'd hug me when they arrived. Tell me about school, their activities, what they'd done at Dad's house. Normal. I patted myself on the back. See, joint custody works. We're doing this right. But around month 4, something shifted. It was subtle at first, so subtle I almost missed it. Emma started spending more time in her room during her weeks with me, door closed, headphones on. When I asked about school, she'd shrug, fine. Did you finish your science project? Dad already helped me with it. Oh, that's great. Can I see it? It's at Dad's house. Everything was at Dad's house. Her favorite books, her art supplies, the stuffed elephant she'd slept with since she was 3. Emma, why don't you bring your things here? This is your home too. I know, I forget. Lucas started calling less during his weeks with David. Before, he'd call me every night, FaceTime before bed. Good night, Mommy. I love you. But the calls became sporadic. Every other night, every third night, then barely at all. When I mentioned it to David during pickup, Lucas hasn't been calling much lately. Is everything okay? David smiled, that calm, professional smile. He's fine, just busy, baseball practice, homework. You know how it is. Can you remind him to call? I don't want to force him, Jen. If he wants to call, he will. We shouldn't pressure kids to perform affection. The words stung because they were right. Technically, you shouldn't force children to show affection. But something felt wrong, and I couldn't articulate what I'm a therapist. I trust my instincts about family dynamics, but this was my family, my children, and instincts get murky when you're inside the system. 6 months after the divorce, Emma said something that made me pause. We were having dinner Tuesday night, spaghetti, her favorite. Mom, why did you leave Dad? I put down my fork. Honey, we've talked about this. Dad and I both decided that's not what Dad says. My stomach tightened. What does Dad say? He says you wanted the divorce, that you chose work over us, that you were never home. I took a breath, stayed calm. This is what I teach parents. Don't react defensively. Don't badmouth the other parent. Emma, divorce is complicated. It's never just one person's choice. Dad and I both agreed it wasn't working. But you did work a lot. I did. I do, but that doesn't mean I chose work over you. I love you more than anything. She looked at her plate, twirled spaghetti on her fork. Dad says actions speak louder than words. There it was, David's voice coming out of Emma's mouth. I should have addressed it then. Should have recognized the pattern. Parental alienation. It's called that. When one parent systematically undermines the other, makes the children question, doubt, choose sides. I teach about it. Warn divorcing couples. Don't speak negatively about your ex in front of the kids. Don't make them messengers. Don't force them to choose. But sitting across from Emma, hearing David's words in her voice, I didn't think parental alienation. I thought maybe she's right. Maybe I did work too much. Maybe I wasn't present enough. Because that's what manipulation does. It makes you doubt yourself. 8 months post-divorce, Lucas stopped hugging me. He'd arrive Sunday evening. David would drop him off. Lucas would walk in, backpack on his shoulder, eyes down. Hey, buddy, I missed you. Come give Mom a hug. He'd stand there, stiff. I'm tired. Can I go to my room? Sure, but first, hug. A reluctant lean in, barely touching me. Then he'd pull away, disappear upstairs. I told myself, he's 9. Boys get weird about affection at this age. It's normal developmental stuff. But it didn't feel normal. During our weeks together, Lucas was distant, quiet. He'd do his homework, eat dinner, watch TV, but the light in his eyes, the spark that made him Lucas, was dimming. Everything okay, bud? Yeah. How's school? Fine. Want to play a game? Watch a movie? I'm good. He was never good before. He was enthusiastic, energetic. My little chatterbox who told me everything. Now he told me nothing. I mentioned it to my colleague, Dr. Sarah Chen. We'd been friends for 10 years. She knew me, knew my kids. Sarah, I think something's wrong with Lucas. He's so withdrawn. Is he like this at David's house? I don't know. David says he's fine. Have you asked Lucas directly? He won't talk to me. It's like he's shut down. Sarah was quiet. Then, Jen, have you considered that David might be influencing them? Influencing them how? You know how you've seen it in your practice, parental alienation? The words hung there, heavy, accusatory. David wouldn't do that. He's a good father. He loves the kids. I'm sure he does. But divorce makes people do things they wouldn't normally do, especially when one person didn't want the divorce. David hadn't wanted the divorce. That was true. I'd been the one to say it first. I don't think we can fix this. I think we should separate. He'd tried to talk me out of it. Couples therapy, date nights, starting over. But I was done. 15 years of growing apart, of wanting different things, of feeling alone in my marriage. So I'd left, and David had smiled and shaken my hand and said we'd be good co-parents. But what if Sarah was right? What if beneath that professional smile, David was furious, hurt, retaliating? No, I was overthinking, being paranoid. David wasn't manipulating the kids. They were just adjusting, struggling. It takes time. I'm a therapist. I should know this. But 10 months after the divorce, Emma said something I couldn't ignore. We were driving to her soccer game, Saturday morning. She was quiet, staring out the window. You okay, Em? Yeah. You seem sad. I'm fine. We drove in silence. Then, Mom, do you think we could live with Dad full time? My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What? I don't know. It's easier. All my stuff is there. My friends live closer to Dad's house. And Dad said, you're really busy with work anyway, so it might be better. Dad said, Emma, I'm not too busy for you. You're my priority always. But you work late a lot, and Dad's home by 5 every day. That's not. I stopped, took a breath. Emma, my schedule hasn't changed. I've always worked until 6 on Thursdays. That's one night, and Mrs. Rodriguez is here with you. You're not alone. I know, but Dad doesn't need a babysitter. He's just there. Because his office is closer to his house. That's logistics, not love. I love you just as much. I didn't say you don't love me. I just think it would be easier if Lucas and I lived with Dad, and we could visit you on weekends. Visit, like I was the non-custodial parent, like I was every other weekend dad. Emma, we have joint custody. That's not changing. You live with me just as much as you live with Dad. Okay, never mind. Forget I said anything. But I couldn't forget because that conversation wasn't Emma's idea. 12-year-olds don't spontaneously suggest custody changes. They don't use words like logistics and easier. David had planted that seed. I was sure of it now. That night, after Emma went to bed, I did something I teach parents never to do. I called David outside of scheduled communication, outside of logistics and schedules. Jen, everything okay? Emma asked if she could live with you full time. Silence? Then did she? Interesting. Did you talk to her about that? We've discussed it. She brought it up. I told her it would be up to you in the court, but if that's what she wanted, we could explore it. David, we have a custody agreement. 50-50. We agreed. I know what we agreed, but kids' needs change. Emma's getting older. She has preferences. We should listen to them. She's 12. She doesn't get to choose where she lives based on which house has better Wi-Fi. That's not what this is about. She's expressing that she feels more comfortable here, more stable. I'm home more. I can provide consistency. I provide consistency. Do you? Because from what Emma tells me, you're working late, canceling plans, distracted when you are home. That's not true. I'm not judging, Jen. Your career is important, but maybe it's time to acknowledge that the kids need more than you can give right now. My vision blurred. Rage. Pure rage. You're manipulating them. I'm listening to them. There's a difference. You're feeding them lines, telling them, I don't care, that I chose work over them. You're systematically turning them against me. His voice went cold. That's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? Proof, legal language. He was already thinking about court. I know what parental alienation looks like, David. I've seen it in my practice. Then you know how serious it is to accuse someone of it without evidence. Be very careful, Jen. Making false allegations could affect custody. A threat. Veiled but clear. I'm not making false allegations. I'm telling you what I see. What you see is your children expressing preferences you don't like. That's not alienation. That's them growing up and having opinions. They're parroting your words, or they're observing reality. You do work a lot. You are distracted. Maybe instead of blaming me, you should look at your own behavior. I hung up, sat in my dark kitchen, shaking. He was good. So good. He'd flipped it, made me the problem, made me doubt myself. And legally, he was right. I had no proof, no recordings, no written evidence, just a gut feeling, professional instinct, which wouldn't hold up in court. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, replaying conversations. Emma's questions, Lucas's distance, David's calm smile. Parental alienation. I'd counseled families through it, identified the signs. One parent subtly criticizing the other, dull children repeating adult phrases, hard children expressing preferences that align with one parent's interests, withdrawal of affection from the alienated parent, fertile children refusing to spend time with the alienated parent. Check, 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 check. It was textbook, and I'd missed it for 10 months. Because I was inside it. Because I was the alienated parent. Because therapists are terrible at seeing their own family dysfunction. The next morning, I called my lawyer, Rebecca Torres, sharp, experienced in family law. Rebecca, I need to talk about custody modification. Okay, what's going on? I think David is engaging in parental alienation. The kids are pulling away. They're using his language. Emma asked to live with him full time. Has David filed a motion to modify custody? Not yet, but I think he's building up to it. Jen, parental alienation is very hard to prove. Courts are reluctant to believe it unless you have concrete evidence. Do you have recordings, text messages, witnesses? No, just patterns, behavioral changes, professional observation. That's not enough. You need documentation. Keep a journal. Record every interaction. Note what the kids say and when. If David sends texts or emails that support your theory, save them. What if he files for modification before I have enough evidence? Then we fight it. But Jen, I have to be honest with you. If the kids tell the judge they want to live with David full time and there's no evidence of abuse or neglect, the court will likely give weight to their preferences, especially Emma. At 12, her opinion matters. Even if that opinion was manipulated into her, yes, because proving manipulation is almost impossible. Kids are smart, they know what to say, and David's a lawyer. He knows how to coach them without leaving evidence. I felt sick, so he can just steal my children, and there's nothing I can do. We'll do everything we can, but you need to be prepared for this to get ugly. It got ugly. 2 weeks later, David filed a motion to modify custody, requested primary residential custody of both children, cited the children's expressed preferences and mother's work schedule, creating instability. The court scheduled a hearing, 60 days out, June 14th. 60 days to prove my ex-husband was systematically destroying my relationship with my children. 60 days to become the kind of detective I'd never wanted to be. I started documenting everything, bought a notebook, wrote down every conversation, every time Emma quoted David, every time Lucas pulled away. May 3rd, Emma arrived from David's house, said, "Dad says you only wanted kids because it's what you're supposed to do, not because you actually wanted to be a mom." May 10th, Lucas refused to hug me goodbye. When I asked why, he said, "Dad says you don't like hugs, that you think they're annoying." I'd never said that, never even implied it. I loved hugging my kids. But David had told them I didn't, and they believed him. May 17th. Emma asked, "Mom, why don't you make us breakfast like Dad does?" I reminded her, "I make breakfast every morning during our weeks." She said, "But Dad makes pancakes. You just give us cereal." I made pancakes last weekend. Emma watched me make them, but the narrative had shifted. David made pancakes. I gave them cereal. Reality didn't matter anymore, only David's version of reality. I started calling other parents from Emma's school, asking casual questions. How's Emma doing in class? How does she seem? One mother, Lisa, Emma's best friend's mom, said something that made my blood run cold. "Emma's been saying some concerning things lately about you." Like what? She told my daughter that you don't really want to be a mom, that you regret having kids, that you only see them because the court makes you. I never said any of that. I know. I told Emma that didn't sound like you. But Jen, she really believes it. Whatever's happening at her dad's house, it's working. I thanked Lisa, hung up, cried for an hour. My daughter, my firstborn, my baby, believed I regretted her existence. And I had 30 days until court. 30 days to prove that David was doing this systematically, deliberately. But how do you prove a lie when the people being lied to believe it's truth? I made an appointment with Dr. Michael Ross, child psychologist, specialist in custody evaluations. "Dr. Ross, I need an emergency evaluation of my children. I believe they're being alienated." He reviewed my notes, the journal entries, the behavioral changes. "Dr. Martinez, everything you're describing fits the pattern of parental alienation. But you understand that proving it requires the children to admit they've been influenced. And if they've been successfully alienated, they won't admit it. They'll defend the alienating parent." I know, but I have to try. I can evaluate them, but I need to warn you, this process can be traumatic for children. Having to talk to a stranger about their parents, being asked to choose sides. Are you sure? Was I sure? No. But what choice did I have? I'm sure. Dr. Ross evaluated Emma and Lucas over 2 sessions, 2 hours each. Then he called me. Dr. Martinez, I've completed the evaluation. I need to be direct with you. Emma and Lucas both expressed a strong preference to live with their father full time. My heart sank. Did they say why? They said you work too much, that you're stressed, that you don't have time for them, that their father is more present and involved. Did you assess for parental alienation? He was quiet. I saw some concerning signs. Emma used language that seemed coached. Lucas was very guarded when talking about you, but neither child disclosed any direct manipulation, and both seemed genuinely to believe what they were saying. So your recommendation is, based solely on the children's expressed preferences and their apparent comfort level, I would recommend primary custody with father, with mother having regular visitation. Visitation. I become the visiting parent. Dr. Ross, you said you saw signs of alienation. Signs, not proof. And in custody evaluations, children's voices matter. The court will listen to them. I thanked him, hung up, sat in my car in the parking lot, and I realized something. David had won. He'd spent a year slowly, carefully turning Emma and Lucas against me, feeding them lies, making them doubt me, making them believe I didn't love them. And now even professionals believed it because he was that good, that calculated, that patient. And I was running out of time. Rebecca called me the morning after Dr. Ross's evaluation. Jen, we need to talk strategy. Ross's report isn't good. He's recommending primary custody with David. I was sitting in my office, between clients, trying to hold it together. I know. We have 3 weeks until the hearing. We need something concrete, evidence of manipulation. Do you have anything? I looked at my journal, pages of notes, Emma's quotes, Lucas's withdrawal, behavioral patterns. I have documentation, a year of behavioral changes, professional observations. That's not enough. We need David saying something incriminating. We need the kids admitting they've been coached. We need witnesses who've seen him badmouth you to the children. I don't have any of that. Then we need to get it fast. After we hung up, I sat there, staring at nothing. How do you prove someone is destroying your relationship with your children when they're too smart to leave evidence? My next client arrived, Amanda Chen, 34, going through a divorce, 2 kids, ages 7 and 9. She sat down, started crying immediately. Dr. Martinez, my ex is doing something and I don't know how to stop it. What's happening? He's telling the kids I don't love them, that I left because I didn't want to be a mother anymore. They're starting to believe him. My daughter won't hug me. My son barely talks to me, and I don't know what to do. I stared at her, seeing myself, hearing my own story in her words. Amanda, that's called parental alienation. It's a form of emotional abuse, where one parent systematically undermines the other. I know what it's called. I Googled it, but knowing what it's called doesn't help me stop it. How do I fight this? I opened my mouth to give her the standard advice. Document everything. Get a custody evaluator. Hire a good lawyer. But the words stuck because I was doing all of that and I was still losing. I don't know, I said quietly. I'm going through the same thing right now, and I don't know how to stop it either. Amanda looked up, surprised. You? But you're a therapist. You're supposed to know how to fix this. I thought I did, but it's different when it's your own kids. When you're inside it, I can see the manipulation happening. I can identify every tactic, but I can't stop it because my children believe what he's telling them. We sat in silence, 2 mothers, both professionals, both helpless against the same weapon. Then Amanda said, "What if we're wrong?" What? What if they're not manipulating us? What if our kids really do prefer their dads? What if we really are bad mothers and we just can't see it? The question hit like a punch because I thought the same thing, late at night, lying awake, questioning myself. Maybe Emma was right. Maybe I did work too much. Maybe I was distracted. Maybe David was the better parent. No, I said, firmly. To Amanda, to myself, that's what manipulation does. It makes you doubt yourself, makes you think you're crazy, makes you believe you're the problem. How do you know we're not? Because our children loved us before the divorce. They were happy, secure, attached, and then their fathers started whispering poison, and now our children are pulling away. That's not us changing. That's them being changed. Amanda nodded, wiped her eyes. So what do we do? I didn't have an answer. I was supposed to be the expert, the one with solutions, but I was just as lost as she was. After Amanda left, I sat at my desk, thought about that question. What do we do? And then it hit me. The thing I'd been missing. I'd been trying to prove David was manipulating the kids, gathering evidence, building a case. But I was thinking like a therapist looking for patterns, behavioral indicators. David was a lawyer. He thought like a lawyer. Evidence, strategy, plausible deniability. If I was going to beat him, I needed to think like a lawyer too. I pulled out my journal, started going through entries differently, not looking for what the kids said, looking for how David positioned himself. May 3rd, Emma said, Dad says you only wanted kids because it's what you're supposed to do. I'd focused on the accusation, but look at the framing. Dad says, David positioning himself as the truth teller, the one who knows my real motivations better than I do. May 10th, Lucas said, Dad says you don't like hugs, that you think they're annoying. Again, Dad says, creating doubt about my love, my affection, making the kids question whether I even want physical closeness with them. May 17th, Emma asked why I don't make breakfast like Dad does. Comparison. David setting himself up as the standard, the good parent, making me the lesser version. It was brilliant, insidious, because he wasn't directly bad-mouthing me, he was just offering observations, sharing concerns, positioning himself as the authority on what I really thought and felt. And the kids believed him because he was their father, because he said it with confidence, because he was there more often reinforcing the message. I kept reading, found more. May 24th, Emma mentioned that Dad says you get mad when we talk about him, that you don't want us to love him. Preemptive strike, making it dangerous for the kids to tell me what David was doing, because if I reacted, if I said that's not true or Dad shouldn't say that, I'd be proving David's point, getting mad, not wanting them to love him. It was a trap. Every direction I moved, I lost. June 1st, Lucas asked, why did you leave Dad? When I explained it was mutual, he said, that's not what Dad says. Dad says you wanted the divorce, and he tried to save the marriage. Rewriting history, casting himself as the victim, me as the villain who destroyed the family. I put down the journal, saw the full picture now. David had been running a campaign, systematic, patient, using every interaction to undermine me, plant doubt, shift loyalty. And I'd been so busy defending myself that I hadn't seen the pattern. But seeing it and proving it were different things. I needed David to slip up, to say something I could record, something undeniable. My phone rang, David. I almost didn't answer, but then I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe he'll say something I can use. I hit record on my phone's voice memo app, then answered, Jen, we need to talk about next week. What about it? It's my week with the kids, but I have a work trip, 3 days. I need you to take them. Standard custody agreement. If one parent can't take the kids during their scheduled time, the other parent gets right of first refusal. Okay, what days? Tuesday through Thursday. I'll drop them off Tuesday morning, pick them up Thursday night. That works. But David, we need to talk about Emma and Lucas. They're pulling away from me. I know I'm concerned too. The false empathy in his voice made me want to scream. You're concerned. Of course, you're their mother. They should have a relationship with you. Then why are you telling them I don't love them? That I regret having them? I've never said that. Emma told her friend's mother that I regret being a mom. Where would she get that idea? I don't know, Jen. Maybe she's picking up on something you're not aware of. Kids are perceptive. Or maybe you're feeding her those ideas. His voice went cold. That's a serious accusation. Are you recording this conversation? Shit. How did he know? No, because if you are, I should remind you that Washington is a two-party consent state. Recording me without permission is illegal, and using illegally obtained recordings in court would be a problem for you. He knew I was recording. I'm not recording. Good, because I'd hate for you to do something that would damage your custody case, making false allegations, illegally recording conversations. Judges don't look kindly on that behavior. I'm not making false allegations. Then stop accusing me of alienation without evidence. Focus on being present for the kids. Maybe if you weren't working 60 hours a week, they'd want to spend more time with you. I hung up, deleted the recording. He was right. Two-party consent. The recording was useless. Illegal. Could hurt me more than help me. David thought 10 steps ahead, anticipated every move, blocked every strategy, and I was running out of time, 2 weeks until court. That Tuesday, Emma and Lucas arrived for their midweek stay, David's work trip. I'd planned activities, a movie night, baking cookies, game night, things we used to love doing together. Emma walked in, dropped her bag. I have homework. Okay, want to do it together? I'm fine. I'll do it in my room. She disappeared upstairs. Door closed. Lock clicked. Lucas sat on the couch, iPad in hand, earbuds in. I sat beside him, touched his shoulder gently. Hey, buddy, want to tell me about school? He pulled out one earbud. What? How's school? What are you learning? Stuff. Can I keep watching my show? In a minute. I want to talk to you. I feel like we haven't really connected lately. He sighed. Put down the iPad. What do you want to talk about? Anything. Everything. What's going on in your life? What makes you happy? What's bothering you? Nothing's bothering me. Lucas, I'm your mom. I can tell when something's wrong. You used to tell me everything. Now you barely talk to me. Did I do something to hurt you? He looked at his hands, quiet for a long moment. Then Dad says you ask too many questions, that you're trying to get information about him. My heart sank. I'm not trying to get information about Dad. I'm trying to connect with you because I love you and I miss you. You see me every week. I see you physically, but I don't feel like you're really here. You're distant, closed off, and I don't understand why. Dad says you always make everything about you, that you don't really listen. There it was again, Dad says. Dad's voice, Dad's words, coming out of my 9-year-old son's mouth. What do you think, Lucas? Not what Dad says. What do you think? He looked confused, like the question didn't compute, like he'd never considered that he could have thoughts separate from what David told him to think. I don't know. You don't know what you think? I don't know, Mom. Can I go back to my show? I let him go. Sat there on the couch, alone. My son didn't know what he thought because David had been telling him what to think for so long that he'd lost access to his own feelings. That night, I tried with Emma, knocked on her door. She opened it, annoyed. What? Want to bake cookies? We used to love doing that together. I'm busy. With what? Homework, FaceTime with friends, stuff. Can I come in? Just for a few minutes? She stepped aside, reluctant. I sat on her bed, looked around, the room I decorated for her, pink walls, string lights, photos of us together. Except the photos were gone, replaced with pictures of her and David, her and Lucas, her and friends, none of me. Emma, can I ask you something? I guess, do you remember when you were little? We used to have tea parties. You'd dress up in my old clothes. We'd make up stories. Do you remember that? I was like 5. That was forever ago. But you were happy. We're happy, weren't we? She shrugged. I don't know. I was a kid. And now? Now what? Are you happy now? I'm fine. But are you happy with me, with our relationship? She looked uncomfortable. Mom, why are you asking this? Because I feel like I'm losing you, like you don't want to be around me anymore, and I don't understand what changed. Emma's face hardened. You really don't know.
No. Tell me.
You left Dad, you broke up our family, and now you're mad that we're not acting like everything's perfect. I'm not mad. I'm heartbroken because my daughter barely talks to me. My son won't hug me, and I feel like someone's been telling you things about me that aren't true. Dad doesn't lie to us. I didn't say dad lies, but sometimes adults see things differently, and sometimes one person's version isn't the whole truth. So you're saying dad's wrong and you're right? I'm saying there are two sides to every story. Emma stood up. I have homework. Can you leave? Emma, please just go. I left, went to my room, cried into my pillow so the kids wouldn't hear. This was what David wanted, to make my children uncomfortable around me, to make every interaction strained, difficult, until they preferred being with him, until they asked the court to let them stay with him full time, and it was working. Thursday night, David picked them up. Emma couldn't get out the door fast enough. Lucas barely said goodbye. David smiled. Thanks for taking them midweek. How'd it go? Fine. They seem happy to come home. Home. His house was home. Mine was just the place they had to visit. David, we need to stop this. Stop what? You know what? This campaign, this systematic destruction of my relationship with our children. Jen, you're being paranoid. The kids are just growing up, forming their own opinions. Opinions you've fed them. I've been honest with them about why the marriage ended, about your priorities, about the reality of our situation. If that makes you uncomfortable, maybe you should examine your own behavior. I know what you're doing. I see the pattern, and I'm going to prove it. He laughed. Good luck with that. See you in court. He left, took my children, my babies who used to run to me, who used to crawl into my bed on Saturday mornings, who used to say, I love you, Mommy, 50 times a day. Now they couldn't wait to leave. I went inside, sat at my kitchen table, opened my laptop, Googled how to prove parental alienation, result after result, legal articles, psychology papers, parent forums, all saying the same thing. It's almost impossible to prove because alienating parents are skilled manipulators. They don't leave evidence. They coach children subtly. They use plausible deniability. And courts are reluctant to believe it because accusing someone of alienation sounds like a bitter ex making excuses. I was fucked. 1 week until court. No evidence, no witnesses, no smoking gun, just my word against David's, and a psychologist report recommending the kids live with him. My phone rang. Rebecca. Jen, I need you to be realistic. The hearing is in 7 days. We don't have enough to prove alienation. We need to pivot. Pivot how? Focus on being the best parent you can be during this process. Don't badmouth David. Don't put the kids in the middle. Show the court you're stable, mature, cooperative. While David destroys my relationship with my children, I know it's hard, but sometimes the best strategy is to take the high road. Let David show his true colors. He won't. He's too smart, too careful. Then we argue that the kids' preferences have been unduly influenced. Even if we can't prove alienation, we ask for reunification therapy, court-ordered counseling, parenting coordination. Will that work? Maybe. But Jen, you need to prepare for the possibility that you might not get 50-50 anymore. The court might reduce your time, give David primary custody, order you to do therapy to repair the relationship. That's not fair. Fair doesn't matter. What matters is what we can prove. And right now, we can't prove David's manipulating them. We can only show that the kids prefer him and courts listen to kids. After we hung up, I sat there, numb. 7 days. 7 days until I lost my children. I thought about giving up, letting David win, accepting every other weekend visitation, stepping back, making it easier on everyone. But then I thought about Emma, about Lucas, about the light in their eyes, dimming, about them growing up believing I didn't love them, didn't want them, chose work over them, about them repeating that narrative to their own children someday. My mom was never really there for us. A lie becoming family history. I couldn't let that happen. So I did something risky, possibly stupid, definitely unethical. I called Amanda Chen, my client, the one going through the same thing. Amanda, this is Dr. Martinez. I know this is unconventional, but I need to ask you something. Has your ex ever said anything specific? Anything you could record? He's too smart for that. He only says things to the kids, never where I can hear. What if you could hear? What if the kids repeated it to you? They don't. They protect him. They think I'm the problem. What if we got our kids together? Compared notes? Maybe they'd tell each other things they won't tell us? Amanda was quiet. Then, Dr. Martinez, are you suggesting we manipulate our children into giving us information? Hearing it said out loud made it real, made it wrong. I don't know what I'm suggesting. I'm desperate, and I'm out of options. I understand, but I can't do that. I won't use my kids as pawns, even to win. She was right, and I hated that she was right. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. Forget I said anything. Dr. Martinez, Jen, I think you need to step back. Get your own therapist. You're spiraling. After we hung up, I looked in the mirror, saw someone I didn't recognize. A desperate woman willing to cross ethical lines, willing to manipulate, willing to become the thing she was fighting against. David had done this, pushed me to the edge, made me question everything, made me willing to do anything. And I realized that was his strategy, not just to alienate the kids, but to make me look unstable, desperate, unfit. So when we got to court, he could point at me and say, "Look at her. She's making wild accusations, recording conversations illegally, harassing me. She's the problem, not me." And the court would believe him because I was acting crazy. I sat down, took a breath, thought about what my own therapist would say if I had one, which I should have gotten months ago. Jennifer, you're in crisis. You need support. You can't fight this battle alone. I pulled out my phone, called Dr. Sarah Chen, my colleague, my friend. "Sarah, I need help. Can we talk?" "Of course. What's going on?" "I'm losing my children, and I'm losing myself in the process. I need therapy, real therapy. Can you recommend someone?" "I'll send you 3 names. Good people, experienced with parental alienation. Call them tomorrow." "Thank you." "Jen, one more thing. You're not crazy. You're not making this up. Trust yourself." After we hung up, I sat in my dark kitchen, 6 days until court, and I finally understood something. I couldn't prove David was alienating the kids, not in time for the hearing. But I could prove I was a good mother. I could show up, be present, document my efforts, fight for reunification therapy, play the long game. Because David might win this battle, might get primary custody, but the war wasn't over. Emma and Lucas were still my children, still young, still capable of seeing the truth eventually. David could manipulate them now, but he couldn't do it forever. Eventually they'd grow up, think for themselves, question the narrative. And when they did, I'd be there, waiting, loving them, ready to rebuild what David had destroyed. That had to be enough for now. The courthouse smelled like floor polish and anxiety. June 14th, 9 a.m., King County Family Court. I sat at the plaintiff's table, Rebecca beside me, David at the defense table with his lawyer, Marcus Webb, expensive suit, slicked back hair, the kind of lawyer who wins. The judge entered, Honorable Patricia Morrison, 60-something, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses on a chain. She'd been a family court judge for 20 years. She'd seen thousands of custody battles, heard every accusation, every defense, every parent claiming the other was unfit. I was just another case to her. Another bitter divorce. Another mother making allegations she couldn't prove. "We're here on petitioner's motion to modify custody," Judge Morrison said. "Mr. Martinez is requesting primary residential custody of the minor children, Emma Martinez, age 12, and Lucas Martinez, age 9. Miss Martinez opposes. Mr. Webb, you may proceed." David's lawyer stood, opened a folder, began his presentation like he was arguing a corporate merger, calm, professional, devastating. "Your Honor, this is a straightforward case. 2 children expressing clear, consistent preferences to live primarily with their father, a mother whose demanding work schedule prevents her from providing the stability these children need. Dr. Martinez works 60-hour weeks, regularly cancels plans with the children, has been documented by her own admission as being distracted and stressed during parenting time. Rebecca objected. Your Honor, Dr. Martinez works approximately 45 hours per week, which is standard for a licensed therapist. She has never missed a custody exchange or failed to care for her children. The children's preference speaks for itself, Marcus continued. We have Dr. Ross's evaluation. We have the children's own statements. We have documentation of behavioral changes that suggest the current arrangement isn't working. Judge Morrison looked at me. Dr. Martinez, you're alleging parental alienation. That's a serious claim. What evidence do you have? I stood. Rebecca had coached me. Stay calm, stick to facts, don't get emotional. Your Honor, I've documented a systematic pattern of my ex-husband undermining my relationship with our children. The children repeat phrases that sound coached. Mom doesn't really care. Mom chose work over us. These aren't children's words. They're adult concepts fed to them over time. Do you have recordings of Mr. Martinez saying these things to the children? No, Your Honor. He's too careful for that. But the pattern isn't evidence, Dr. Martinez. Do you have witnesses? Text messages? Emails? Anything concrete? I have my professional observations, behavioral documentation, the children's own words, which could be their genuine feelings. Children of divorce often struggle. They often express preferences. That doesn't mean they've been manipulated. David's lawyer jumped in. Your Honor, Dr. Martinez is a therapist. She sees manipulation everywhere, but sometimes children simply prefer one parent over another. That's not alienation. That's reality. Judge Morrison nodded. I'm inclined to agree, Miss Torres, unless you have concrete evidence of Mr. Martinez coaching the children or speaking negatively about their mother. I'm not going to make a finding of parental alienation. Rebecca stood. Your Honor, we'd like to call Dr. Martinez to testify, and we'd like the children to speak with you in chambers. Very well, Dr. Martinez, please take the stand. I walked to the witness stand, raised my right hand, swore to tell the truth. Marcus Webb approached, smiled. Friendly, dangerous. Dr. Martinez, you're a licensed marriage and family therapist, correct? Yes. You specialize in helping families navigate divorce? Among other things, yes. So you're an expert in healthy co-parenting? I have expertise in that area. And yet your own children are asking to live with their father full-time. Doesn't that suggest you're not following your own professional advice?
Rebecca objected, argumentative.
Sustained. Mr. Webb, ask questions, don't make speeches. Marcus nodded. Dr. Martinez, how many hours per week do you work? Approximately 45. And you see clients until what time on Thursdays? 6 p.m. So the children are with a babysitter until you get home? Mrs. Rodriguez watches them one evening per week? Yes. And you've canceled plans with the children, correct? Occasionally, when emergencies arise with clients, how many times in the past year? I don't have an exact count. More than 5 times. Possibly. More than 10? I hesitated. Maybe. So you've canceled on your children more than 10 times in a year. That's almost once per month. Would you advise your clients to do that? Every parent has work obligations. Answer the question. Would you advise a parent going through custody proceedings to regularly cancel plans with their children? No. Thank you. Now, you've accused Mr. Martinez of parental alienation. That's a form of emotional abuse. Correct. When proven, yes. And making false accusations of abuse in a custody case, that's serious, isn't it? I'm not making false accusations. You have no recordings, no witnesses, no texts or emails, just your interpretation of your children's behavior. Correct? The pattern is clear. Yes or no? Do you have concrete evidence? No, but no further questions. I stepped down, shaking. He'd made me look like a vindictive ex-wife making unsubstantiated claims. Rebecca tried to rehabilitate on redirect, asked about David's subtle comments, the children's behavioral changes, my documentation. But I could see Judge Morrison's face, skeptical, tired. She'd heard it all before. Then it was David's turn. He took the stand, calm, collected, perfect. Marcus asked him questions designed to make him look reasonable, concerned, cooperative. Mr. Martinez, have you ever spoken negatively about the children's mother in front of them? Never. I've always maintained that Jen is a good mother. I want the children to have a relationship with her. Then why are they asking to live with you? I think they're responding to stability. I'm home by 5 every day. I make breakfast. I'm present. I don't cancel plans. And I think they feel that consistency. Rebecca cross-examined Mr. Martinez. Isn't it true you told the children that Dr. Martinez chose the divorce? I told them the truth. Jen initiated the divorce proceedings. That's factual. And you told them she chose work over family? I said she's very dedicated to her career, which is true. I didn't say she chose it over them. But the children believe that, don't they? If they believe that, it's based on their own observations, not anything I've said. Plausible deniability, every answer carefully crafted, nothing provable. Rebecca pushed harder. Mr. Martinez, have you discussed the possibility of the children living with you full time? Only when Emma brought it up. She asked if it was an option. I said it would be up to the court. You didn't encourage that idea. I told her I'd support whatever arrangement made her happy, while simultaneously telling her that her mother is unavailable. I've never said that. But Emma believes it. Children form their own conclusions. Judge Morrison interrupted. Miss Torres, unless you have evidence that Mr. Martinez has directly coached the children, I'm going to move on. I'd like to speak with Emma and Lucas in chambers. My stomach dropped, the children testifying. This was it. The moment David had been preparing them for. Emma went first, 12 years old, confident, articulate, destroying me with every word. I wasn't allowed in chambers, but Rebecca came out after 20 minutes, face grim. What did she say? She said she loves you but feels like you're too busy for her, that she's happier at her dad's house, that she wants to live there full time and visit you on weekends. Did the judge ask if anyone told her to say that? Yes. Emma said no, said these are her own feelings. Of course she did, because David had taught her exactly what to say. Lucas went next, 9 years old, quiet, nervous, but the message was the same. Rebecca returned. He said he misses you when he's at his dad's house, but he feels like you don't have time for him. He wants to live with his dad because dad is always there. Tears burned my eyes. My baby, my little boy, saying I didn't have time for him, because David had spent a year telling him that. Judge Morrison called us back in, sat behind her bench, looked tired. So I've spoken with both children. They're articulate, thoughtful, and consistent in their preferences. Emma wants to live primarily with her father. Lucas is somewhat ambivalent but leans toward the same arrangement. My heart was breaking, actually breaking. Dr. Martinez, I understand your concerns about alienation, and I don't doubt that you love your children, but I have to weigh the children's voices. At 12 and 9, their preferences carry significant weight. Your Honor, those preferences have been manufactured. You haven't proven that. What I see is two children expressing comfort and stability with their father, and a mother who, by her own admission, works long hours and has canceled plans with them repeatedly. Those cancellations were rare. Nevertheless, they happened. Mr. Martinez has been consistent, present. The children feel that. Rebecca stood, Your Honor, we're requesting reunification therapy, court-ordered counseling to address the dynamic. I'm ordering that. But I'm also modifying custody. Effective immediately, Mr. Martinez will have primary residential custody. Dr. Martinez will have parenting time every other weekend and 1 evening per week. Every other weekend, visiting parent. What David wanted all along. Your Honor, Rebecca tried. My decision is final. Both parties will participate in reunification therapy with Dr. Linda Park, 3 months minimum. We'll reconvene in September to assess progress. The gavel came down. I sat there, numb. Rebecca was saying something, but I couldn't hear her. David stood, shook Marcus's hand, smiled. He'd won. Completely. I walked out of the courtroom, sat on a bench in the hallway, couldn't move. Rebecca sat beside me. Jen, I'm so sorry, we'll appeal. There's nothing to appeal. The children testified. The judge believed them. The reunification therapy is good. It's a chance to rebuild in 3 months, while David has them 90% of the time, reinforcing his narrative every single day. I know, but it's not over. Kids grow up, they see the truth eventually. Eventually, years from now, when they're adults, when they look back and wonder why they barely knew their mother. I went home, empty house, silent, no toys scattered on the floor, no backpacks by the door, no voices calling, Mom, just me alone. I sat on Emma's bed, looked at the photos she'd removed, found them in her drawer, pictures of us, smiling, happy. When did that end? When did I become the parent she wanted to escape? I knew the answer when David decided to take it from me. My phone rang, David. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Jen, I wanted to say this doesn't have to be adversarial. We can co-parent civilly. The kids will adjust. You destroyed my relationship with them, and you're calling to gloat? I'm calling to say, I hope we can move forward for their sake. Did you ever love them, David? Or are they just weapons to hurt me? Silence. Long silence. Then, quietly, you really don't see it, do you? See what? You left me, Jen. You ended our marriage. You took my family away. What did you think would happen? There it was. The truth. Naked. Raw. So this is revenge. This is me protecting my children from a mother who chose her career over them, who walked away from their family, who broke their sense of security. I didn't break anything. You filed for divorce. You made that choice, not me. And now you're shocked that the kids see who you really are. David, enjoy your every other weekend, Jen. You earned it. He hung up. I sat there, holding my phone, understanding, finally. This wasn't about the kids. Not really. This was about David's pain, his rejection, his need to make me suffer the way he'd suffered. And the children were collateral damage. 3 months of reunification therapy began the following week. Dr. Linda Park, 60 years old, kind eyes, experienced with high conflict custody. First session was just me. Linda asked me to tell my story. I did all of it. David's campaign, the children's distance, the court hearing, the loss. Linda listened, took notes, then said something that surprised me. Dr. Martinez, I believe you. I think David has been engaging in alienation behaviors, but here's what you need to understand. Proving it and fixing it are different things. How do I fix it? You don't fix it. You rebuild, slowly, over years, by being consistently present, consistently loving, consistently the parent you say you are, until the children can't deny reality anymore. What if they never come back? Some don't. Some alienated children grow into alienated adults. They believe the narrative so completely they never question it, but most eventually they see the truth when they're older. When they have their own relationships, their own children, they look back and realize something was wrong. I don't want to wait until they're adults. You might have to. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of parental alienation. The alienated parent loses in the short term, sometimes in the long term. But if you stop fighting, you've definitely lost. If you keep showing up, keep loving them, keep being there, you have a chance. That became my mantra. Keep showing up. Every other weekend, I picked up Emma and Lucas. They came reluctantly, spent the weekend in their rooms, left Sunday evening without looking back. But I kept showing up. Once a week, Wednesday dinners. They barely talked, ate quickly, asked to go back to Dad's house. But I kept showing up. Therapy sessions with Linda, the kids resistant, arms crossed. Why do we have to do this? But I kept showing up. Slowly, painfully slowly, something shifted. Month 2 of therapy. Lucas said something in session. Dad said, you don't really like spending time with us. Linda jumped on it. Lucas, has your mom ever seemed like she doesn't like spending time with you? I don't know. She's always asking questions, wanting to talk. And that feels like she doesn't like you? Or like she's trying to connect? Lucas looked confused. I guess trying to connect. So when someone tries to connect with you, asks about your life, wants to spend time with you, what does that usually mean?
That they care?
Right, so when your mom does that, what does that mean? Lucas was quiet, actually thinking for himself instead of repeating David's words. I guess she cares. Small, tiny, but it was something. Month 3, Emma had a soccer game, David's weekend, but Emma texted me, "Can you come to my game Saturday?" My heart leaped. Of course, I'll be there. I showed up, sat in the stands. David was there too, coaching. He saw me, frowned, but didn't say anything. Emma played, scored a goal, looked up at the stands, and waved at me. I waved back, crying, because it was the first time in 6 months she'd acknowledged me in public. After the game, Emma ran over. "Did you see my goal?" "I did. It was amazing." "Thanks for coming." "I'll always come, Emma. Always. You just have to ask." She smiled, small, uncertain, but real. David walked over. "Emma, time to go." Emma hesitated. "Can I have dinner with Mom?" David's face tightened. "It's my weekend." "I know, but can I, please?" He looked at me, at Emma, calculating, realizing that saying no would make him look like the controlling one. "Fine, 1 hour, then I'm picking you up." We went to dinner, just the two of us. Emma was quiet at first, but slowly she opened up. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Did you really choose the divorce? Or did you and Dad both decide?" The question I'd been waiting for. The one that mattered. "Emma, divorce is complicated, but the truth is, yes, I initiated it. I asked Dad for a divorce first. But that doesn't mean I didn't love you and Lucas, or that I chose work over you. It means your dad and I weren't happy together anymore, and staying together would have made everyone miserable. Dad said you gave up on the marriage. Maybe I did. Maybe I should have tried harder. I don't know. But leaving your dad doesn't mean I left you. You and Lucas are mine forever. Nothing changes that." Emma was quiet, processing. "Then I miss you. Sometimes, at Dad's house. I miss our tea parties, and baking cookies, and how you used to read to me before bed." Tears again. "I miss that too. We can do those things again. Anytime you want." "Dad says you're too busy." "Emma, look at me. I'm here right now. I came to your game. I'm having dinner with you. Does that seem too busy?" She shook her head. "No. Your dad isn't lying when he says, I work. I do work, but I'm never too busy for you. Never. If you want to see me, call me, text me. I'll be there, every time." Emma nodded, something in her eyes softening. Not fixed, not healed, but a crack in the wall David had built. September, 3-month review hearing. Dr. Linda Park submitted her report, said I'd been consistently engaged in therapy, that the children were showing signs of improved connection with me, recommended continued therapy, and gradual increase in my parenting time. Judge Morrison read the report, looked at me, at David. "I'm maintaining primary custody with Mr. Martinez, but I'm increasing Dr. Martinez's time. Every other weekend, 2 weekday evenings per week, alternating holidays. We'll review again in 6 months. Not 50-50, but more than before. Progress." David was furious. I could see it. The tightness in his jaw, the way his hands clenched. He'd expected total victory, permanent exile for me, but the children were slipping away from his control, bit by bit. That night, Emma called me. "Mom, can I come over tomorrow? It's not your day, but I want to work on my science project and you're better at that stuff than Dad." "Yes, absolutely. Come over whenever you want." She came, spent 4 hours at my house, working on her project, talking, laughing. When David picked her up, she hugged me, long, tight. "Love you, Mom." "Love you too, baby." David watched, silent, realizing he was losing. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, inevitably, because you can't build a relationship on lies forever. Eventually, the truth breaks through. 1 year after the custody modification, Lucas asked to live with me full-time. "Mom, I want to come back. Can I?" "Are you sure? What about Dad?" "I love Dad, but I miss living with you, and I'm tired of Dad telling me what to think.
There it was.
The breakthrough. We went back to court. Lucas testified. Emma was still conflicted, but said she'd support whatever Lucas wanted. Judge Morrison modified custody again. Lucas with me, Emma staying with David, but more liberal visitation. Not perfect, but better. David barely spoke to me after that. The co-parenting relationship completely fractured. We communicated through lawyers, through apps, never directly. But the children were finding their way back to me, and that was all that mattered. 2 years later, Emma came to me, 16 years old, crying. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything I said. I didn't understand what Dad was doing. I thought, I thought you didn't care, but you kept showing up, even when I was awful to you. And Dad's mad all the time now. Mad that Lucas lives with you. Mad that I want to see you more. I think I finally get it. I held her. You don't have to apologize. You were a child. You believed what you were told. That's not your fault. But I hurt you. And now you're here. That's what matters. She pulled back, looked at me. Dad really did this on purpose, didn't he? He wanted us to hate you. I think he was hurt and angry, and he used you and Lucas to hurt me back. But that doesn't mean he doesn't love you. He does. He just loved his pain more. That's really sad. It is. Are you okay after everything? Was I okay? I'd lost years with my children, years I'd never get back. Christmases, birthdays, soccer games, school plays. But I had them now, imperfectly, incompletely. But I had them. I'm okay. We're okay. That's enough. My name is Dr. Jennifer Martinez. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I help families navigate divorce, co-parenting, custody disputes. And I lost my own children to parental alienation for 2 years, became the every other weekend parent, the visiting parent, the one my children barely knew. I fought back, went to court, lost, went to therapy, rebuilt, slowly, painfully, over years. Lucas lives with me now, full custody. Emma splits her time, 50-50 again, the way it should have been from the start. David and I don't speak. The children shuttle between houses. It's not the co-parenting relationship I'd hoped for, but it's the one we have. The cost: 2 years of my children's lives. 2 years of them believing I didn't love them. 2 years of distance I can never fully close.
Was it worth fighting?
Yes, because the alternative was losing them forever. Would I do it again? I'd do it differently. I'd recognize the signs earlier, document better, fight harder from the start. But the lesson I learned, the one I teach my clients now, is this: parental alienation is real, it's insidious, it's devastating, and the alienated parent almost always loses in the short term. But if you keep showing up, keep loving, keep being present, eventually the truth wins. Not always, not guaranteed, but sometimes, and sometimes has to be enough. Subscribe to The Quiet Reckoning if this story resonated with you. This is where we tell stories about parents fighting for their children, about custody battles that destroy families, about truth that takes years to surface. Drop a comment. Have you experienced parental alienation as a parent or as a child? What was your outcome? Because this story isn't rare, it's happening in courtrooms every day. And the children are always the ones who pay the price.